My name's Scott McKee. I'm the Managing Director of Bird Dog. It's not about lunch. I hear this a lot. It's probably the most recurrent comment that I get about social media is why would I want my business to be involved with tweeting about what people had for lunch? Who cares? Who cares what you had for lunch? Well, in this particular instance, the photo that you're looking at is a picture of someone on the train that I was on, that I took. It's one of the unfortunate instances where I didn't have the flash on, but I did have the sound on my phone, and it made that clicking sound as I took the photo. But I managed to get out of that, and about 4,500 people were interested in what this person was having for lunch. So I just wanted to use that as an example of how a connected community can spread and amplify a message very quickly, very rapidly, and about the things that you least expect, including lunch. So businesses tend to use the why would I tweet about lunch as an excuse more than anything to avoid the can of worms that is social media, and they use it to avoid joining in with social conversations. But it's a poor excuse because those businesses are missing a big social opportunity. And if there's any doubt as to how big that opportunity is, well, there's some current numbers, some fairly standard numbers for this year, and you can see that in LinkedIn alone there's 225 million active users that your brands could be actively engaged with. So B2B social media isn't just about work, because that would be very, very dull if we only ever talked about work. B2B social media is actually about life, generally, which is a lot more interesting, as you can see. At work, we don't just talk about work. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about your husband. You talk about the kids. You talk about the husband and the kids. You talk about your weekends. All of these images come from social channels. You talk about your family Christmas, which can be a little bit awkward, but nevertheless available to the world. And actually, we talk about just about everything at work and on social media. So you also talk about work, of course, and social media is no different. We talk about everything and work, and I think that's a distinction that businesses need to make, that it's okay to talk about other things, not just your business. In fact, it's probably imperative that you talk about other things as well as your business. So as part of my social world, for example, I am the author. I'm the author of a couple of books. I also blog for Bird Dog and syndicate that content through other websites. I produce videos, not unlike the one we're making today, and I share my slide decks and presentations around the world as well. But it doesn't actually matter what I think about my business content. What actually matters is what my community thinks about my business content and where they choose to engage. And as often as not, they choose to engage with the content that I produce that isn't at all related to work. So a couple of years ago, I started tweeting Waterloo Bridge reports. Once a week on a Friday, whatever I saw on Waterloo Bridge, I would tweet. It's only once, but it only took a couple of times before people started asking me to tweet more, to the point where I couldn't not tweet them any longer. That's what my community wanted to see. So it involves a photograph and a smart-ass line that comes from me, hopefully, in the time it takes me to walk from Waterloo Station across the other side of the bridge. So I've been doing that for 2 years every Friday, and so far I haven't failed. And there's stuff like this. So I don't know how much you can see from the back there. My weekly view from the bridge, there's a picture of a rubber glove with some kind of Ozzy Osbourne symbol. And my line on Waterloo Bridge today, God gave rock and roll to you, gave rock and roll to you, and so on. And that kind of thing gets noticed, funnily enough. So It gets noticed regularly. There are a few keen followers and many not so keen, but they're forced to have it. This guy's called Ian Rhodes, and he's a regular follower of the opinion that it's not Friday until you receive Scott McKey's Waterloo Bridge report. And that in itself isn't terribly important. It's not that remarkable until you start appreciating that Ian Rhodes also engages with my business content. So my community is built up around a business community, but they also have personalities. They are human beings, and they get the Ozzy Osbourne jokes. But here he is commenting on one of my slide decks. One example, epic and wholly worthwhile slide share to devour from Scott McKey. So I've now jumped the shark here and gone from my connected community into Ian's connected community. He's helping me. He's helping me by recommending my material onto his business audience. And it starts to become more obvious why that's important when you have a look at his profile, and you can see that he's got about 8,000 people that he's talking to. And those 8,000 people are talking to another 8,000 people, and so on. And very quickly, your business message can be communicated around the world and back again. So I wish I'd known a few years ago. I wish people had told me that the kind of content I'm communicating on Waterloo Bridge would be more effective than the traditional communications that we're all used to.